In addition to learning kinds of sentence, you also learnt about subject and predicate and their position in a sentence. You also learn about phrase and clause, difference between phrase and clause and their position in a particular sentences. I hope this talk is going to help you in improving your English language and composition, and you must also make similar kind of sentences at your home, and you may also go through grammar and composition books in order to further study on the same topics. Hello viewers and aspirants, welcome to virtual CSS Academy by Z.A.Langah. And as promised to the new and young aspirants, I am starting series of talks on English grammar and composition, because English grammar and composition is very critical paper in CSS, and a lot many candidates who come from rural areas, who come from backward areas, or who have been studying in educational institutions under public sector lack familiarity with grammar and composition. So keeping this in view, I have decided to have a series of lectures on grammar in order to provide free of cost learning, information and knowledge to all the aspirants. So this would be a brief talk, and all future talks would also be brief, relevant, and the objective would be to impart knowledge and information of rules of grammar to the young needy aspirants of CSS. So guys, today's talk is on sentence. What is sentence? What are its types? And what are components of sentence? So guys, sentence is a basic unit of composition, and there are 4 types of sentences. We normally speak in sentences in written and verbal communication. All forms of composition comprise sentences. A sentence is a group of words having its own subject and predicate. Before talking on kinds and types of sentences, I would briefly try to explain what is subject and what is predicate. Subject is normally noun or pronoun or group of words doing work of noun or pronoun, which is doer of any action. Predicate is a group of words which is action part, which comprise word, which comprise group of words which represent action, or it may represent any state. So subject can be of one word like a noun or pronoun, or a group of words, and likewise predicate can also be a one word like verb or group of words such as verb, adverb, preposition, and other extension of group of words. So I hope it is clear to you that what is a subject and predicate. You must refer to your books and try to understand the composition of subject and predicate in a sentence. Try to understand the structure of a sentence, and especially also try to understand subject and predicate, because in an English composition paper you are required to solve certain questions which you cannot do without having gone through the rules of grammar and composition. This talk and your personal reading would definitely help you in solving those questions which come in CSS, PCS, ICS and other exams. So now We are starting, as I told, with study of sentence. Sentences basically are of four kinds. Whatever we speak falls within purview of these four categories of sentences. There are assertive or declarative sentence. There are interrogative sentences. There are exclamatory sentences, and there are imperative sentences. You, as a candidate of CSS or PCS, or even if you want to understand sentence, you must know what is a declarative or assertive sentence. You must see the definition of this type of sentence and try to make similar kind of sentences, because practice makes man perfect. A declarative or assertive is a sentence with its own subject and predicate, and assertive or declarative sentence makes a statement. Like, I write a letter. I do not write a letter. A statement can be positive or negative. And there are interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentence is a kind of sentence which asks direct questions. Like, I ask you, what is your name? Have you been to Islamabad in your lifetime? Have you visited Pearl Mosque, Agra, Delhi? And at the end of these questions, you have to put question mark. Basically, interrogative sentence start with interrogative verb, helping verb, or any other kind of word which basically is interrogative in nature and is used to ask a question like what, why, how, where, when. Please note that there is difference between direct question and indirect question. And in sentences of direct question, you have to put question mark at the end. And I will also exclusively talk on punctuation marks during the series of talks on grammar and composition. So you must know formation and rules of interrogative sentences. In interrogative sentence, interrogative word or verb is placed at the start, and which is followed by noun or pronoun or the group of words which stand for noun or pronoun or which do the work, and then which is followed by predicate verb, and then question mark is put at the end. You must learn this to make interrogative sentences. So guys, we are learning types and kinds of sentences. There are four kinds of sentences: declarative or assertive sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, and exclamatory sentences. Form and structure of all these sentences is different, and if you are serious and committed student and want to learn not only English but improve your communication skills, you must know the kinds of sentences, and you must be able to make such kind of sentences in your verbal and written communication. Then there is a kind of sentence which is known as imperative sentence. Imperative sentences are used to express commands, requests, submissions, and entreaties. And in these kind of sentences, subject is normally left out, omitted, and only verb and its extension is given in sentences. Like, do the work. This is a sentence in which a command is given, and the subject you, which is understood, has been deliberately omitted. Have mercy upon them. Do me favor. These kind of sentences are a beauty of any language, because in writing or in spoken English, you have to use these sentences to convey not only your message but also your feelings. And the best way is to learn the kinds of sentences and get mastery over their formation and use. Then lastly, there is kind of sentence which is exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences are kind of sentences in which we convey sudden feelings of joy, happiness and surprise. Like in sports, when some good batsman hits a ball out of the boundary, we say, what a six! When you are in a very difficult or tough situation and don't know how to do, and you convey your feeling, you say, I am lost. So, this sentence variety is beauty of language, and you must have command over all kinds of sentences if you are serious and want to learn and improve your English skills. In addition to kind of sentence, you must also know what is phrase and what is clause, and what is difference between a phrase and clause, and how these are formed. A phrase is a group of words without any definite verb which doesn't convey clear sense. Like on the top of mountains, in book of grammar, at place of worship. These are phrases. There is no verb in them. It's like on the top of the mountains. Means what? What on the top of mountains? When we use verb and subject, when we make a complete sentence, then you can be able to get the clear message of the sentence. Like birds are sitting on the top of the mountains. Now subject, birds and verb sitting. Complete the sentence and the meaning is clear. But sometimes you have to use phrases in some sentences, and you must know the position of phrase and definition of phrase. Phrase is a group of words without verb which doesn't convey any complete sense, as I gave you examples. And what is clause? Clause is a group of words which has its own noun and pronoun or subject or predicate and is dependent on the main clause. It conveys complete sense because it has subject and predicate of its own and is dependent on the main clause. It is rather part of the main sentence and is dependent. Like, he is a boy who is my student. He has found a book which he lost 2 weeks ago. In this sentence, group of words which he lost 2 weeks ago is a clause because it is dependent on the main clause. He has found the book. But unlike phrase, the clause has subject and predicate of its own and conveys a complete sense. So we will read more about noun clauses, adjective clauses, adverb clauses in coming few days. This is just to let you know, to sensitize you about phrase and clause. And friends, I hope that this talk would have conveyed you some idea about kinds of sentences, which are 4 declarative or assertive sentences, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, and declarative or assertive sentences, which are used to make a statement, interrogative sentences, which are used to ask any direct question, imperative sentences in which command, request, submission entities are made, and lastly the exclamatory sentences in which sudden feelings are expressed. In addition to learning kinds of sentence, you also learnt about subject and predicate and their position in a sentence. You also learn about phrase and clause, difference between phrase and clause and their position in a particular sentences. I hope this talk is going to help you in improving your English language and composition, and you must also make similar kind of sentences at your home, and you may also go through grammar and composition books in order to further study on the same topics, because by studying you can learn so many things. Listening is also important, but study is more important. In the next talk on a series of English grammar and composition, I would exclusively be speaking on parts of speech, because we will go step by step, and especially my target audience is beginner, new young aspirants who lack knowledge about grammar and also lack resources to go to cities, go to tuition centers, hire teachers for teaching them English grammar and composition. This service I am providing free of cost to all the needy candidates. So in the next topic I would be exclusively speaking on parts of speech, but that would be an introductory talk in which I would just let you know about names of parts of speech, their definitions and functions, and then after that talk I would exclusively be talking on each part of speech in detail. So thank you very much guys. I hope that you would have learnt a lot from this talk, and I would request you to please go to YouTube and subscribe my channel Virtual Sales Services Academy, and if you have subscribed, then share with your friends and the needy people you know, so that they may subscribe and get benefit from this talk of mine. Thank you, take care, bye.